let's take a look at our top selections. Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, kicking off the late pick 5 at Aqueduct on Saturday with stakes action. Let's throw up the field for race number 5. It's the Top Flight Invitational. Fillies and mares going 1 1/8. Only a field of 6, but some quality horses in this race, led by the 7-5 morning line favorite. That's Horologist, who we last saw in the Breeders' Cup Distaff. Prior to that, Bill Mott got her in career best form.
Yeah, she ran the 2 best races of her career for Mott, winning the Molly Pitcher and the Belle Dame. Dan, they were both fast races. Her other 2 races for Mott, both losses, but she faced Monomoy Girl both times.
Number 3, Mrs. Danvers, as we take a look at the time form U.S. pace projector, is expected to make the lead. And in her last couple of races, it seems that's what Shug McGahee wants out of Mrs. Danvers. She wired the field in the Cumley in her 3-year-old finale. And last time out in the Royal Delta, she was just quarter-horsed out of there, and her goose got cooked.
Yeah, she contested the pace last time, and it was off of a little bit of a layoff, Dan. To be honest, she was terrible last time down at Gulfstream Park. We'll see if she can rebound.
But she might have an easier time of it on the lead this time around because her likely pace pursuer, according to Timeform US, Flash and Dynamite, is a 30-1 outsider on the morning line. Flash and Dynamite was 3rd in the Heavenly Prize last time out. She was beaten 10 lengths. She's just slow on figs.
Yeah, she's just not fast enough to beat this field. I mean, she ran some faster races last year, Dan, out of town. And she has won over this track in the past. It just feels like her recent form doesn't give her much of a chance. And she's also entered main track only in the Plenty of Grace on Sunday.
Horse looking for a little bit of pace up front's the 2, Queen Nikia, who was claimed for $25,000 in 2019 by Safi Joseph. They won a stakes race with her last year, and they got the big prize in her first start as a 6-year-old. Let's watch the Grade 3 Royal Delta, typical Corey Lannery ride. Saving ground, shoots through along the inside. She pays $50.
Yeah, she pays a big price in here. Really good ride in this race, as you've already sort of pointed out, Dan. Mrs. Danvers did contest a solid pace in here. She gave it up in the stretch. This horse got a great trip through on the inside, and for the 2nd straight year, she ran really well in the Royal Delta. Her other races do nothing for me. Her 2 efforts in the Royal Delta are both pretty good.
Mrs. Danvers, you mentioned, didn't run very well in the Royal Delta after pushing the pace, but she returns to the scene. Track distance of the Cumley 2 starts back, a 1:02 Beyer performance. That race came over a wet track. There's a chance the track could be wet again this weekend in New York.
Yeah, that could help her, I guess. That's certainly the best race she's ever run, Dan. Always a filly who showed a lot of potential. I guess you would have to argue never really lived up to that potential. And you're in a position now, Dan, where she has the big 1:02 in the Cumley. And other than that, I don't know that any other race she's ever run is going to beat this field. I don't know. She's going to be a short price here, a relatively short price, trying to rebound off of a poor effort last time.
Perhaps the number 4 Lucky Stride is for real for trainer Michael Trombetta. She got a big pace when she won the Wayward last 2 starts back at Tampa Bay, and she stayed closer to the splits. Nice to see in her most recent start the Nelly Morse, where she was the odds-on favorite at Laurel. Let's watch that Nelly Morse. It was a race that Lucky Stride was supposed to win, and I thought the outside was the place to be, and she stayed out there. Lucky Stride did what she had to do. She may need a slight buyer boost, but she is nothing if not consistent.
Yeah, she is. That's true. She got over here last summer in Saratoga, Dan. Every race that she's run over here has been a solid performance, whether it be turf or dirt, and even going longer sometimes. So she's just a very versatile horse. As you mentioned, closed into a fast-paced 2-back, stayed closer in that race we just watched right there. Yeah, she's a little slow on paper, and maybe she does have to improve. I actually feel like she's a nice fit in this race.
Mike Horologist, as you mentioned, really came to hand for trainer Bill Mott. She was always good for her prior connections. She won the Monmouth Oaks as a 3-year-old filly, but Mott had her win the Molly Pitcher with a 1:02 Beyer, and then a weak edition of the Belle Dame with a 100. The Belle Dame was only a 4-horse field, but she was very confidently ridden, tracking a fast horse in Latruska, and she blew by that one at the 3/16.
Yeah, she did. I mean, she's a pretty hard horse to knock just based off of her 4 races for Mott, Dan. I personally could use a little bit of confirmation for the 2 fast races, if only because, you know, the Molly Pitcher sort of seemed like it came out of nowhere, and the runner-up in there, Our Super Freak, also got a really big new top figure in there that she hasn't run back to. I know this filly ran another 100 in the Beldame, but as you've already pointed out, that was a pretty weak race, a short field. And Latruska, as fast as she is, she just totally threw in the towel that day.
Thankful the number 6 defeated Mrs. Danvers last fall at Belmont going a 1-turn mile, and she won the ladies handicap 2 starts back over this course and distance. What happened last time out in the Heavenly Prize?
I don't know. I mean, she didn't really obviously run well in that race, and she was under a ride right from the start in there. Kendra Carmouche could not get her to keep up, and she never made an impact in that race. It was a disappointing performance for a filly who had been pretty good prior to that, Dan. I would be willing to give her a bounce back chance in here. She won over course and distance 2 starts back. I thought she ran really well in that race. I think getting a little more distance under her helps her in this race. I thought about putting her on top. I think she's going to run better in here.
Top pick time for the Top Flight Invitational, race number 5 at Aqueduct on Saturday. You're going with Lucky Stride. She's a tactical horse. She showed that in her last race. I think she can sit a nice fit in the second flight in the Top Flight, and she might be a decent price.
Yeah, those are all the things that I liked about her, Dan. I'm just, at this stage of the game, not totally sold on Horologist yet. Maybe she'll make me a believer on Saturday. We'll see.
I think that's a fair point, especially at the price Horologist is going to be. Also, she has to go 9 furlongs off a layoff, which is never easy. I'll trust Mott here, but I don't love the price. I may sit out and watch. 5-2-4-3 for me, 4-5-6-3 for Mike, and the Top Flight Invitational, one of 2 stakes races at the Big A on Saturday. Good luck.